You know what I just remembered existed recently? And by recently, I mean this afternoon when I went grocery shopping like 2 hours ago. Fucking zebra cakes are a thing, man. Zebra cakes are awesome. Why don't I eat more zebra cakes?
I don't know why you don't eat more zebra cakes.
I fucking eat the shit out of these zebra cakes.
Welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which Chris now gets high every single week and is endlessly entertaining.
Sponsored by Little Debbie up in this bitch.
Allegedly.
I'm too delirious for this.
No,
shit.
we need to actually.
Hey, yo, Deb, give me a call for that sponsorship.
Now that I'm becoming more and more aware of YouTube's policies, we are absolutely not sponsored by Little Debbie, but Little Debbie sponsors us.
You bastard.
Little Debbie, let me get some of that zebra cake money.
Okay. I think that's enough of that.
Shit, I could talk for hours about zebra cakes.
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Hello.
And welcome to Star Wars Every Week Forever, the podcast in which we watch one Star Wars every week forever. This week, Return of the Jedi. Don't, Ben, I have told you not to make that sound.
I was making normal sounds, but far away from the mic.
Return of the Jedi.
Chris, how's your watch?
It fucking sucked.
Starting right off with the delirium tonight.
That might be the most depressing we've come at the original trilogy with so far.
I just didn't want to watch Star Wars today. I really didn't. I really didn't.
I had a similar experience. It's gotten to the point. I've watched the last 3 or 4 weeks in a row, cutting it very close to the podcast. Not like I just got done with the movie 10 minutes before the podcast, but like I just got done with the movie like an hour and a half, 2 hours before the podcast closed.
Same.
And it's another one of those things like last week where I could recognize the good in the movie, but I begrudged it because I had to sit there and watch it, and I didn't want to. So the watch was not good at all. Dan, how was your watch?
Josh. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, literally.
I'm tired. My watch was alright. I had to watch the last, 45 minutes a second time because I fell asleep because I had a long day. But it was alright. Star Wars. Ewoks running around being Ewoks.
Yeah. How was the book?
The book was nowhere near as insufferable as last week.
Really? I mean, it didn't ask you to get up and jazzercise with Vader or anything?
No, I did not have to enlist my sister's help with this.
The world is lesser for it, really.
I don't think she'll agree with you on that.
I feel bad for her, but also that made the rotation for me.
So this book, Star Wars: Return of the Jedi, Beware the Power of the Dark Side.
Okay.
By Tom Engelberger. It was pretty solid, actually. It did have its own little gimmick thing, which was very subtle and oddly amusing at times, where it says, okay, I actually have an example. It goes, Chapter 25, in which Jar Jar hopes Darth Vader will look at some paperwork. So it tells you the chapter number and what's gonna happen in the chapter, and then you read the chapter. Spoiler alert: Darth Vader does not look at that paperwork.
This is the most important development we've ever had in Star Wars Every Week Forever continuity. Like, it's just, that's the ongoing arc throughout the first season of Downtime Darth. It's just that paperwork that Darth just keeps trying to get to, and then something wacky happens.
Maybe that's why Palpatine so often takes his leg from him. It's because he's trying to get Vader to sit down. My lord, you did not tell me when you brought me to the dark side and told me of this unlimited power that I would spend 3 days of every single week filing your paperwork.
My lord, why are you laughing? It's just very funny watching you try to kneel with one leg.
I'm gonna, I'm always down for Downtime Darth. But something happened that made me less attached to the bit as I should have been. So I looked up Tom Engelberger because surname. And
okay,
he is apparently a New York Times best-selling author of a series called Origami Yoda. I'm on the website right now, and I do not understand what the fuck it is. So, major merchandise has arrived at Planet Walmart, apparently, and I'm gonna love this.
Oh, hello.
I need help figuring out what the hell this is.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, help me, please. Help me. This website for our podcast listeners looks very much like a blog. Like, it's just a series of blog posts, which is the problem, actually. Despite the fact that at the top, it's advertising a book series called Origami Yoda, which I am fascinated by and want to know more on.
Oh, God, this background.
God.
The background looks like a chalkboard. But
yeah.
It stopped. Okay, it was just perpetually like in motion for me, and I'm like, I'm gonna get motion sickness.
There are 7 books in the Origami Yoda series.
Yes, and I would like to highlight one immediately.
God, what have I done?
I'm looking at a couple that are pretty good.
So I have just sent one of the books to the chat, and the title of this book is Emperor Pickleteen Rides the Bus. I don't know.
Josh, I'm so excited that I get to break this news to you. Do you want to know the name of another book that he wrote?
What is it?
Star Wars, From a Certain Point of View.
Oh my God.
He did From a Certain Point, which, both of them?
Wills. He did Wills.
I have more names.
Okay, hold on.
The Secret of the Fortune Wookiee. Darth Paper Strikes Back. And A Strange Case of Origami Yoda.
Oh, God.
This is so much to take in. Whoa. The Supreme Attack of Jabba the Puppet. Okay. There's one in here that I really hate. Princess Label Maker to the Rescue. And it is indeed Leia Organa Solo. And I hate it so much. I don't want to dunk on these, but some of these titles, I will say, I think are very weak. I particularly just really hate Princess Label Maker. I feel like this is something that we have to follow up on. And
I feel
by
like
us,
I
mean
want to.
me.
I was gonna say I feel like I never want to acknowledge this ever again.
So, yeah. Check out the rest of this individual's work. His name again is
Tom Engelberger.
Ankleburger.
No, Engelberger.
Like, he just
Christopher,
Engelberger.
behave yourself.
Anyway, that was.
Chris is gonna go rogue one of these days, and it's gonna be.
Anyway, this mini merch corner is over.
Oh, this fucking book. It was talking about Mon Mothma at one point, and it says, and I quote, "She knows the long Star Wars are coming to an end."
Oh my god.
And I was just like, oh, I don't know about that one.
You said the title of the movie.
We get 2 name drops of Imperial advisors.
Oh, are these the purple hat guys?
Purple hat guys.
This is very important to me.
Imperial
It's very
advisors
important.
Sim Alu and Janice Grijatis.
This is no longer important to me. What the fuck are those names?
Those are
Could
Star
you
Wars
repeat the second-
names.
Could you please repeat the second one? Because that's incredibly egregious.
It's either Janice or Janus Grijatis.
So, basic first name. Whatever the fuck that last name was.
Which there is actually a Wikipedia page on Janus Grijatis and Alu, Sim Alu. But the way it describes them is as that Palpatine treats them as if they are errand boys.
Okay. So that, I mean, yeah, that sounds like Palpatine.
Oh, also, Josh.
Hmm.
The dress.
Okay, this is also very important.
The dress was fashioned by Spare Blankets.
No, it fucking wasn't. Have you seen that dress? Have you seen that dress? Have you seen that beautiful fabric? That was not Are you fucking kidding me? Are you fucking? Yeah, no. That's
dead serious.
That's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever heard in my life. Have you seen that dress?
Listen,
Give
all
me a
right.
fucking break.
Are you telling me that you find it harder to believe that the Ewoks had access to a sewing machine and dressmaking than the fact that they just found a dress, maybe in an escape pod that was shot in a funeral ceremony of sorts?
I love my favorite thing about this conspiracy theory that Chris has made, which I'm gonna run it back for you. That he believes that Padme Amidala was shot out into space and then crash landed on Endor years later, is that clearly they put like her 5 favorite outfits in there with her because it was not what she was wearing the day she died. It was not what she was wearing in the funeral. But I could believe that she would be extra enough to put her 5 favorite outfits inside of that. So I will accept this headcanon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? Yeah.
And it's better than the third option.
Fuck out of here with those bed sheets.
Why?
I can't. Is it weird that I almost find it weirder that they had bed sheets?
The way it's written, it sounds like it might have been a survival blanket type thing that she had.
Oh,
but
okay.
There's no way she had that much material.
And look at the material the dress is made out of.
Yeah.
Are you smoking something? Perhaps crack.
Also, how did she get her hair so nice?
The Ewoks have to maintain their fur somehow, alright? They've discovered brush technology.
Brush technology.
When the Ewoks acclimated and spread throughout the galaxy, they became the greatest hairstylists in the entire
I
galaxy.
mean, I was really, really struck by how wonderful that fucking hair was today. The way it sways, how perfectly it's braided
wavy.
and kept, it's so good. And so far flung from the situation.
Also, Chris, I hate you because I cannot find any solid details on what happened to Padme's body. So I cannot effectively debunk this, and I'm mad.
What? Oh, the being shot into space.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Don't
just,
I mean me.
It seems like in sci-fi, one of two things happens: either you're burned or you're shot into space. And who's to say she wasn't just shot into space and crash landed on the same exact planet her two children were on?
I think it's far more efficient to shoot people into space because, like, yeah, it's gonna go somewhere maybe eventually, but it's not your problem anymore.
Hold on. Back up a second. The word you chose to use is efficient.
I find
So are
that quite
you
efficient.
implying
There's no
that
longer a dead
taking
body in my way.
a vacuumless
My God.
capsule that you shoot out to space, that
Yeah.
it probably took a ridiculous amount of energy to get the ship to where it had to be in order to launch it, to get it to the atmosphere in order to shoot
Look,
it out.
I didn't mean like
is
fuel
more
efficient. I meant
cost-effective.
efficient. I didn't say
Where-
cost effective.
Okay.
More
Let's
efficient
assume
as
you
in I'm
meant
not tripping
efficient,
over
meaning.
all these dead bodies.
Let's assume you meant efficient in any other way humanly
Chris,
possible.
wait. Josh, can I get something in real quick?
Yes, please and thank you. I'd love to dunk on this for a while.
Chris, how often do dead bodies get in the way of your day-to-day life?
I don't think I've ever said what I do for a living here. I could be like a mortician for all you know.
Have said on the podcast.
I do know.
Because you once profiled yourself, and that's in the podcast.
Well, no, I said I have access to cameras.
Unless you're
I never
profiling
said
your own
what I
No,
body.
do.
you said what you do.
I don't believe I did.
You
And
said
I don't
you
care to.
manage
And
I
don't
manage
care,
something.
store.
because I would like to continue to present.
I
this
manage a mortuary. And I'm just tripping over those bodies. You know, I've been trying for years
Okay.
to find a more efficient solution.
To bring this back to my point, which is dunking on Chris for this comment he made.
I accept no dunking. I'm
Are you saying that it's more efficient to shoot something out into space and let it be propelled across the ages for years and years and years and possibly land on an inhabited planet?
Yeah.
Than it is to just burn the body?
Yeah, but then you're putting that, like, smoke into the atmosphere and, like, into your,
I'm sorry.
nearby.
You're putting the smoke into the atmosphere rather than whatever the runoff from the starship that you had to kick off of the fucking planet into the atmosphere.
Starships burn clean, baby. Elon figured that shit out centuries ago.
My fucking God.
Oh, let's not deify Muskie Musk, please. Ben, how's that Rakatan science going in your head? Actually, that might be...
Don't fucking bring the ricotta into this.
Elon Musk being a Rakat makes the most sense in the entire world, actually, now that I think about it.
I have such a love-hate relationship with the Rakatan Infinite Empire.
It's so silly. The expanded
It's
information
so
on it is
bad.
so silly. I would like... Huh? Can I right a great wrong on this podcast?
You can try.
So, for 4 rotations,
Oh no.
we behind the scenes have been talking about bringing this up, and yet have not.
Oh no?
On YouTube, there is a 5-hour video
Oh yes.
in which Darth Vader, where that funeral of Darth Vader that Luke gives his father by putting his mask back on and then putting him on the pyre and then setting him on fire. There is a 5-hour video of just the sound of logs burning, entitled Darth Vader Yule Log 5 Hours. And it is maybe my favorite thing on planet Earth or beyond it. Because somebody took the time to find a 6-second clip of Vader on fire, make sure it leads in enough that you can hear that sound effect, and then loop the sound of fire for 5 fucking hours, and then go through whatever. And I'll tell you, uploading something to YouTube, even if it's short, takes fucking forever. A 5-hour video of just Darth Vader burning. And it's called Darth Vader Yule Log 5 Hours. And we've been talking about bringing this up since before we recorded the pre-podcast episode. And I wanted to bring it up because it's one of my favorite works that's ever been done in Star Wars. Because it's just so fucking ridiculous. And I adore you, Benjamin Apple. That's all. I just know we've all brought it up separately on the outside of the podcast multiple times, but have never brought it up.
This episode's been
I don't know how to
ride.
I don't know how to springboard off of this one.
This episode has been a fucking ride, man.
You're acting as if we haven't said we need to bring this up on the podcast at least 3 times.
I know, but I'm
not complaining that you didn't. It's there's so much has happened.
Where do we go from
what
5 hours of Darth Vader burning?
What is this anymore?
I mean, to be fair, that's the end to the Skywalker saga that we all needed. Just watching Vader burn.
The end of the Skywalker saga
and they just launched Vader in space.
And then 30 years
later, Ben and Rey are about to kiss, and then Darth Vader lands. And then it just cuts off.
And it plays the Han and Leia theme because apparently that's a family thing. I would like to point out that Han Solo cares so little about Lando Calrissian at this point as he wakes up that he will absolutely take the chance of firing on him in order to release himself from a tentacle monster.
I don't think that's Han not caring. I think that's Han being way cockier than he deserves to be.
I know, but based on, well, yeah, I think it's a combination of the two. Because after this entire thing, Han and Lando are cool with each other, and I genuinely think it's because Lando believes that was Han getting even by scaring him, and I personally believe that Han could still not see properly and was just willing to shoot him, and then afterwards, when he was on the Millennium Falcon, he was like, that's probably fucked up. I think we're even.
I have a great mystery.
I'd love to hear your mystery.
There is a character in this movie and in this book who is named in the book, and I cannot figure out why this character needed to be named several times in this book. The character of Klaatu. This character is one of Jabba's henchmen. He is a Nikto with green, like, scaly skin.
And he has, like, the best goddamn thing.
2 sentences on Wikipedia.
Hold on. I feel like I know this person.
There's a joke here that I think you might be missing, Ben.
What?
Yeah.
Is there?
Ben, there's a fantastic joke here you're missing. There's a reason this character's named, and whoever did this is a fucking genius.
Wait, what's going over my head?
Oh, that's fantastic. Ben, have you ever
I mean,
seen
are
Army
you
of
gonna
Darkness?
explain it to him?
No, I've never seen Army of Darkness.
This name is the Army of Darkness joke.
No.
It really is. It really is. So, for Ben's benefit, background work earlier in the film was done by John Simpkin during the initial scenes in Jabba's palace filmed at Elstree Studios in the UK.
Oh my god.
Klaatu was named for Klaatu Barada Nikto, a phrase from the 1951 film The Day the Earth Stood Still.
Hold on. Hold on. You want to know how much the entire species that he belongs to was named after this joke?
I suspect, knowing George Lucas as I pretend to do, and going with every assumption I've ever made about George Lucas from the special features that are probably wrong, that George came up with the name Nikto. And then John Simpkin showed up and said, "You named him Nikto?" And he's like, "Yeah." And then he just randomly said, "Klaatu Barada Nikto." And George was like, "Well, that's that guy's name now." And that's how it went.
I also it shows a real generational thing too, that I think it's a hilarious Army of Darkness reference when really it's a Day the Earth Stood Still reference.
It really does. It really does. Because you know
But
what?
I mean, it's the same thing. So I'm pretty
same.
sure Army of Darkness
I thought
is
the same, but that
reference
actually
to that,
also
yeah.
shows a generational gap between you and me. I wasn't sure which one it was. So that's why I didn't explain it. Partially to fuck with Ben, partially because I needed to double check, and I knew there would be one of these nerds on Wikipedia would explain it somewhere.
I didn't even know that information. So.
I literally almost watched Army of Darkness 2 days ago.
I would recommend it.
Hold on.
See, I didn't even know that was a thing from Day the Earth Stood Still. So
why? I can't go into this.
What? Josh?
Can't. Do you really want to go off topic and never return?
At this point, my curiosity is so piqued.
So one of the Legends appearances for Klaatu, is Star Wars Tales of the Jedi: The Saga of Nomi Sunrider. That happens 4,000 years before this person was born, and I'm deeply confused by it. Because Nomi Sunrider, for people that don't know and haven't taken my suggestions, which that's fair, why would you listen to anything I say? Nomi Sunrider was an incredibly important Jedi Master during the wars that happened before KOTOR that are referenced in those games and referenced in those stories. He's mentioned in it.
He's mentioned in it, but nowhere in the Wikipedia article is his name mentioned, so it must be like a throwaway line or something. I know, but I want to know now. I'm so curious.
I want to pretend that I'll follow up on this, but I absolutely will not. Anyway.
Sorry. This week
Off the
on
subject.
Weird Wookieepedia.
Give me a break.
Are we throwing out anything less than like a paragraph?
We're not doing Weird Wookieepedia yet, Ben. We're not even like 30 minutes into the recording.
So? I didn't realize there was like a mandate.
We've done this bit 5 times, and it's always been at the end of the episode.
Yeah, well, I'm mixing it up.
We're not exactly organized here.
Okay, fine. We can do it now. Break your own rules.
I never made this rule.
End of trilogy was the only rule I remember.
I'll start talking about pod racing. I'm not standing for this shit.
Let it be known, this is the week that I finally revealed the secret project that is 16 minutes of my life that you can find on YouTube called This Is Quite Unfortunately Pod Racing. And it's just every mention of pod racing that one Benjamin makes on the podcast in the first 3 rotations and the side episodes surrounding it. 16 minutes. That's an average of 2 minutes. Actually, I don't know for sure if that's an average of 2 minutes of pod racing for each episode, so I will not say that. But still, that's an average of, help me, someone who's good at math.
Not me.
How many rotations was it? 3 rotations?
3 rotations plus 3 episodes, so 30 episodes, because it was a 30 episode thing.
That's 1.888.
So, yes! Like, just over a minute of pod racing mentions per episode as an average.
I'm proud of myself.
You should not be.
I mean, it's kind of impressive. Like, I hate it, but it's impressive.
Chris, I love you.
I had so much fun with it when I was just I've been working on this for a while. But I knew I had to get down to crunch time to get it out before the 4th rotation started releasing. And that day sucked. That day sucked. Because I listened to 8 episodes of it in one day at 2 times speed, just listening begrudgingly for Ben to bring up fucking pod race.
So anyway, Weird Wookieepedia. This is a shorter article, so I'm probably going to do a second one. And we can save that one for the end, just for you, Josh.
Thank
you. This article is actually from a favorite period of Star Wars history of mine. This is Borkal Volok.
Why does it sound like I know this person? Yep.
He was a Jedi Master who served the Order during the New Sith Wars, and he participated in the Battle of Ruusan and perished. Left his or her lightsaber to be sought by future archaeologists.
I'm confused because I feel like I know that name, but it was never actually showed up in the Jedi vs. Sith or Bane books, so maybe I'm just hallucinating.
The only source here is wizardofthecoast.com Insider.
It is probably very telling of that entire period of time in Star Wars that I saw the name and was like, that's definitely Ruusan.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't think, because Hoth and Bane and that kind of stuff are the things that people know in broad strokes. But
well, yeah, but I mean, one Bane was they just took the word Bane.
Yeah, and then they just took the word Hoth.
Yeah, they just took the name of Hoth and was like, let's just. It was the laziest when you're first reading the Bane, spoilers for the Bane trilogy, if for some reason you're listening to this and care about spoilers for the fucking Bane trilogy. They were like, all right, we need a Jedi general to lead the battle, and they're just like, his fucking name is Hoth. So out of nowhere, it's all of a sudden talking about General Hoth, and I'm like, wait a fucking minute. And then it later elaborates yes, the Hoth system was named after him because reasons.
Which says a lot about that General Hoth, that they saw him. It's actually a decent piece of canon.
Yeah.
Because one of the things, oh god, are we gonna? I'm so sorry, Chris. I'm so sorry, audience, but we're gonna talk about the Bane trilogy for a minute.
Ooh, yes.
It's alright. I'm just here. I'll just take a nap.
I'm really sorry, Chris.
No, we're good. Yeah. It's better when I don't participate, because then I can just pretend this is a bad dream I had.
Are you okay, buddy?
I'm doing great.
I don't believe that.
I'm doing so good.
So, all I was gonna say was that in the books, Hoth, General Hoth, is like the farthest from a Jedi that you could possibly be.
Yeah.
And that entire era of Jedi were so militarized that was
Like-
part of the point of their story arc in it, and what led to that was
Like
that
it
the ways that
was.
Jedi were muddied through a thousand years of war. And I think it's very telling that I actually think it's really clever that they named him Hoth, because that says that some other person that knew of Hoth looked at a desolate system with mostly frozen worlds and said, yeah, that sounds like that Hoth guy to me. That's all I was going to say.
The new Sith Wars was basically like you take the militarization of the Jedi from the Clone Wars and crank that up to 11.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty wild.
Because it was fucking bloody and just batshit. But yeah, that's that. That's Weird Wookieepedia for until we're done.
So Luke shows up at the space station when he gets back from watching Yoda just give up on living. And he hears from another room Han say he has a mission. He's like, yep, I'll happily go. And then the moment that they start the mission and he gets on the ship, I choose to now interpret him saying I shouldn't have come as not only him feeling Vader, but him having regrets that he didn't even listen for the mission to be pitched to him before he showed up. Because, like, I was sitting there, I was reminded that he just yells into the room from outside after Han has given no illusions as to what the mission is. And Leia agrees. He's just like, I'll go too. It's like, oh, great. And then he's sitting inside of the Imperial flyer and feeling Vader and going down to the moon. He's like, I probably should have listened to the mission briefing first.
Well, I'd imagine that, I mean, this isn't helping the Luke situation at all, because that's just fucked. But, like, I imagine Leia knew, because she was there for the whole briefing. Like, I imagine there was more to that briefing than just that little, like, 2 minutes we saw.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But at that point, he had already agreed to it, and there was no backing out.
Yeah, Luke straight up just walks in and goes, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends.
That's my point, though. He doesn't even walk in. He wasn't in the room when he agreed to it. He just overheard from outside, and from outside agreed to it, and then walked into the room.
Jesus Christ.
It's just an excellent little detail I picked up on today.
Luke is just such a cocky motherfucker. Like, just imagine you're like, yeah, I'm gonna go do that space mission with my friends, and all of a sudden you're on this, like, forest moon, and teddy bears are gonna sacrifice you to your droid, and it's just like, what the fuck?
It's like, whoa, this day really got away from me.
You're probably wondering, how did I get here?
You know, I've had some days that have gotten away from me before, but not quite that bad, I guess.
Luke's just perpetually trying to outdo the ridiculous situations he gets himself in.
Oh my god. That's fucking excellent. I really, really want, like, an 80s movie version of, like, Luke landing on there and getting scared by an Ewok, and he's like, yep, that's me, Luke Skywalker. I bet you're wondering how I got here. And the
That's exactly what I was
the 80s music hits. It all started when I looked at a binary sunset on Tatooine.
I have a weird detail to mention. Well, a couple of things.
I mean, we thrive on weird details.
First of all, we get to hear the Ewoks convene a council in order to decide on helping the rebels or not.
Okay.
Like, it's a weird kind. Like, there's an actual government here.
I mean, that makes sense.
And it was strange, because, like, in the movie, it's just like, yeah, they're gonna go help us.
I like this little detail.
Yeah, it was weird, but it struck me, and they, like, convened all sorts of tribes. Like, it got, like, like neo-tribalistic political for like a whole 2 seconds. And a weird detail was Ahsoka is mentioned in this book.
What?
At the very end, when Vader's looking upon Luke with his own eyes, it mentions Ahsoka by name.
That's
Weirdly.
I guess I like that. I guess like him remembering that before he dies is nice.
Because it's trying to draw the connection where that's like his last real emotional connection he remembers having, aside from Padme.
I guess like you two are the Filoni TV show fans. How do you feel about that?
Chris?
Have you heard anything we said in the last couple minutes?
Yeah. Ewoks.
Did you hear what I said about Ahsoka, Chris?
No, I didn't.
That was specifically for you.
What's up with Ahsoka?
Ahsoka is mentioned by name in this book.
What?
See, that was the reaction I was originally. Chris,
That's
are
what I
you
was
okay
waiting
today?
It's been a long one.
I'm worried for you right now, Chris.
You're worrying me.
I'm in the process of moving, and it's been a very scattered, busy day, and
I forgot.
Okay, yeah, I
staring
knew
off
that,
into the
but
distance.
I didn't realize. I forgot you were moving so soon, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
So what Ben said. Or actually, I'll let Ben explain.
Basically, in the scene where Luke takes off Vader's helmet as they're about to get exploded, Vader's like, "Let me look upon you with my own eyes," and Luke takes off the helmet, and Vader, for some reason, gets a memory of Ahsoka.
Weird.
And the only reason I could think of them like connecting that is because like Anakin kind of had that like pseudo fatherly friendly relationship with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
So like looking on his son in his last moments, he remembers Ahsoka, and that's why I was asking. You two are the Filoni fans of his shows. How do you feel about that? Because my opinion doesn't matter here.
I mean, I really like that.
Yeah, I kind of dig it, but like
It's
it's
like a little nice thing.
It does. It just felt like a weird thing to all of a sudden just show up.
I think it's always gonna feel weird, and what I will describe as Reddit fanboys will complain about it because it feels weird, not because they have any merit in what they're saying. Will always complain when something from one of the new properties kind of crosses over into some kind of context in the original trilogy because they're so defensive of it. I feel like it's always going to feel a little weird, but it feels very thematically appropriate.
The reason I guess it feels weird is because the original trilogy, they're novelizations, but they're more of like reimaginings, I guess would be the more proper term for it. Don't really dive too deep into like the expanded content. They pretty much stick to the movies and that's it.
It's probably also worth remembering that when these were all done in 2015, there was no expanded content other than the Clone Wars.
True.
And was Rebels on at that point?
Yeah.
Yeah, so those two.
But yeah, that was just, I found that very, very strange, but like I wasn't, like it wasn't a negative kind of.
I mean, it's actually kind of annoying in retrospect that they did that and they didn't do more connections to stuff. Because I mean that I had never even thought about it, but that's a perfect way to connect that stuff more is through the official novelizations and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, all right, it's fucking 2015. You're giving us redone versions of the novelizations of the movies. Yeah, make some weird changes like that.
Yeah, and that's
like it seems like a waste opportunity, knowing that they were willing to do it and that they only really did it with that one thing.
This next comment's going to be a bit of a give and take because of how because of information I know comes from them. But that's kind of why I'm looking forward to the next 3 books, because I know they expand on a good amount of stuff, for better or worse.
Yeah, I have been told by people that have read these books that they're absolutely batshit insane. I don't know
I feel
what
like
that means, but
I feel like that's
they're batshit.
more the authors being like, all right, we have to try and make this more coherent.
I mean, to be fair, there's no way that they could have done that because they were released simultaneously with the movies. So there's going to be a million weird little details in there that are just have nothing to do with the movies because they had no idea what was happening next.
Exactly.
Or if they did, it was very loose and they were very under contract.
I love the idea that the novelization person for Rise of Skywalker just didn't get the memo that they changed directors, and it's like Trevorrow's version of the fucking movie in a novelization.
Oh god. Fucking hell.
I'm starting to worry a little bit because
Well,
I've always had really detailed notes about my watches, and I had exactly 2 points to make this episode, which has been true the last like 2 episodes, and I'm starting to think I'm running out of things to say already.
I've still got lots to say.
Well, then you can be the new note taker.
All right, prepare for lots of pod races.
Oh my god.
Weird Wookieepedia, please.
Hold on, I actually have a legit note. It does relate.
About fucking pod racing, Ben?
I could make it, but I won't.
Fucking better.
Watto is referenced in this book.
What?
Watto. It's...
He remembers Watto as his helmet's removed. He remembers Watto.
I would love to see Watto right now. You know, he owned my life and put a chip in my head that would cause me to explode if I left the planet, but I love to think of Watto.
Luke, you know what happens to slaves that leave Tatooine? They blow you up. Boom!
He just dies right there. And when he says boom, the Death Star explodes and Luke never makes it out.
That's Vader's last words to his long-lost son.
The final double turn of Vader. He was just wasting his time until the Death Star exploded.
Watto is mentioned when Vader returns to the second Death Star to tell Palpatine, like, hey, there's rebels on the moon. And Palpatine's like, yeah, no shit. And Vader's like, yeah, but my kid's there. And Palpatine's like, nah. And Vader's like, yeah, I kind of want to go track him down. Vader goes through this whole thing in his head where he's remembering a scene with Watto where Anakin would like find useless shit in the shop, and he'd be like, hey, yo, Watto, can I keep this? And Watto's like, yeah, sure, but I'm gonna work you harder tomorrow for it. And those memories are just like linked somehow because it's like Vader like asking for stuff from his master.
I like the idea of playing the comparison in Vader's, like, you know, final day of the situation he has gotten himself into and being enslaved to Watto. It's like this stark reminder that I traded one master for another without realizing it. That said, that's such a weird scene to go back on in that moment. That's like, I feel like it could have been done way, way better.
Josh, I know what you meant, but when you said Vader's last day, I pictured like Vader put his 2 weeks notice in and everything, and he's like cleaning off the desk, and he's got his box of stuff.
Now look, we have had a wonderful partnership here, Master Palpatine, but I'm thinking of starting up my own venture. Perhaps I'm going to go to another planet and start up my own junkyard, or perhaps I'm going to create a pod racing ring, or maybe I'm going to I don't know. I just suddenly feel very free. Have you ever felt very free, Master Palpatine? Anyway, I'm going to leave. Here's my 2 weeks notice. Goodbye. It's been wonderful working with you. Good luck with the whole take over the galaxy thing.
There's a pizza party in the break room. He's cleaning off his desk. There's a little Maz statue he's putting in a box.
This is so weird.
Yeah,
this is
odd
the
little mentions in this book that I was just like, I get it, but okay.
I mean, I like both mentions. I feel like that
Yeah.
Watto could have been done way better in a way more poignant way. But they seem like really good attentions to detail to add in there.
Oh, Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma used to be a fighter pilot.
That doesn't surprise me.
I don't know. I've always seen Mon Mothma as like the political like negotiator type. Yes. And like just seeing her like behind an A-wing, it's just like it's a weird picture in my head.
Yeah, I mean, when was she a fighter pilot though?
Apparently when she like first joined the like in the heyday of the rebellion.
So like she went from being a senator to being a fighter pilot.
Apparently when the rebellion was first starting, like the open rebellion first started, she wanted to be as like on the lines as possible. But then she eventually came to realize she was her skills more geared her towards the political end of that. So she started shifting into more of that Mon Mothma we know.
But like, here's the thing: she was a senator before that,
Yeah.
so she did shift into the Mon Mothma we know. She was the Mon Mothma we know, but younger and more idealistic. And then she was a fighter pilot. And now she's just a senator again, except the head of a rebellion calling military operations, because obviously. But it's like, that's not growth. That's like, she degraded into another character and then just randomly became the character she was before, but older and more aware of the fascist system she was before. What? That makes no sense. Why would you add this weird fucking detail?
Because that's all this book does is add strange details. And some of them work.
Isn't she like a senator in Rebels as well? Like she hadn't fully left that.
Yes, Rebels, when she appears in Rebels, it's before episode 4, so it's before the Imperial Senate is dissolved.
Yeah.
So she's still kind of like working within the Empire to.
Yep. But you gotta think, like, it's only been like what, 3 years since she was like still a full-time senator who was secretly orchestrating rebellion. Sure. Like this means when she was a senator, when she was actively trying to hide the fact that she was a part of the rebellion when she was still a part of the Senate, she was leading starfighter missions?
No, I'm talking when she was in open rebellion. Like once the Senate was dissolved in episode 4, she hops in A-wings and fucks shit up, and then becomes the leader of the rebellion.
So you can hop in a starfighter and solve the galaxy's problems then.
I do believe you can solve the galaxy's problem by jumping in a cockpit and blowing things up.
Oh
This book has a disclaimer at the beginning.
Oh no.
The very opening it talks about two droids walking through an endless desert, and it says, and I quote, "Fear not, listener, it meaning the book, will get better." and let me tell you, that puts your brain in a mindset of, oh God, what am I in for? The author is openly telling me, don't worry, the book will get good if you give it some time.
What? I mean, like, credit to this
It
man.
goes on to list, like, it goes, there will be space battles and explosions and blah, blah, blah. But right now, we're in a desert with two fucking robots.
I feel like this man had an extremely negative view of the Tatooine arc, and that's just his way of saying it.
There's nothing I love more on this podcast than Ben's just pure joy giggle.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. In most situations, it's pretty good. God bless this man. He went in swinging and tried shit, but he's like 1 for 3.
Man. No, he's 10 for 10. I adore this.
I believe you have a Weird Wookieepedia waiting for us.
Yeah, I do.
I don't think it'll be as fulfilling as Klaatu.
Oh boy, it's even shorter than For Cal Volok.
Fantastic.
I'm gonna do a third one because these are just
No, this one's gonna be like 8 fucking pages.
I'm gonna do a third one because after this one, this one's a sentence. It's the N30 Battle Blade. The N30 Battle Blade was a type of vibrosword produced during the Cold War between the Galactic Republic and the reconstituted Sith Empire.
Love me some vibroblades.
It's a cool. Weird looking. It's the most unruly and ineffective looking vibroblade.
It's the most awkward looking sword of anything I've ever seen, and that includes like orc swords from Lord of the Rings.
I mean, that's a dagger. That's a dagger. I recognize it because I've played this game. But
oh,
fucking
shit! No, Logray, who is actually named in this book because he's an Ewok.
Oh no.
Male Ewok from the forest moon of Endor, who served as the chief shaman of the Bright Tree tribe during the Galactic Civil War. So this is the shaman of the tribe that kidnaps our heroes.
We really are just getting closer and closer to that pod racing article, aren't we?
I'm waiting. Yeah. One day the stars will align, and I will have to talk about pod race, whether you guys like it or not.
This has been Star Wars every week forever.
I love you all.
Hey, if you enjoyed us, thought we were funny, like our content, or just really love our suffering and want to hear more of it, we're available all over the place and release episodes every Wednesday around 12 Eastern Standard Time. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Player FM, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, and in a unique format over on YouTube that our fans seem to dig. You can join in on the conversation over on Twitter as well, at SWEWF. We're quite active and love to hear from our fans. Sincerely, though, we appreciate you taking the time out of your day to spend with us on this car crash of a ride.